Hi everybody, and welcome back for another unboxing swatch. Today we'll be looking at the Derwent Inktense Ink Pencils set of 24. Now, if you're not familiar with the Inktense pencils, I did not say watercolor pencils. Now, they are water-soluble pencils, but what makes them unique, what makes the ink part of these pencils, is that once you lay them down and do a wash over them, when it dries waterproof, so it won't reactivate with water the way a traditional watercolor pencil would. This is more like an ink would. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this set, that they will re-wet like a traditional watercolor pencil. They will go down like a traditional watercolor pencil. But once the water has dried, that's where the story changes. That's where they are no longer like a traditional watercolor. They've converted more to an ink, hence the name Inktense. So here's the packaging. We've got just a little bit of information on the back. Inside our tin here, we've got the pencils all laid out. These pencils are a nice thick size. There's a plastic wrapping over them, so let me remove that and we'll come right back. Alright, so looking at these pencils, they're a little bit thicker than a traditional watercolor pencil. There's a round barrel. The lead looks like it's a pretty good thickness. There's a lot of wood on there that will protect that lead inside. These are made in the UK. And let's give them a try. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move these to the side, and what we're going to do is put down a dry layer. I'm going to lay them down with kind of a heavy hand, then go to about half that in terms of the amount of pressure I'm putting down. Do all the colors dry so we can take a look at those. And then I'll go back over with water so we can see how they activate. Now remember, these will behave like traditional watercolor pencils the entire time that we're doing this here. But once they are dry, that's where it changes, when they stay dry like an ink and not like a watercolor. Before we get started, I wanted to mention that I am using a Mimic Kolinsky round size 8. This is the same brush I've been using for the majority of our unboxing swatch videos for continuity. Also, the same is for the paper here, Fabriano Artistico 140 pound cold press natural white paper. So again, trying to keep that consistent as much as possible. But let's get started laying down the colors. So this final pencil here is called Outliner. This is not water soluble at all. This is meant to do just that, outline the things that you've done. It won't be affected by water. I will still swatch it down here so you can kind of see that. It's basically a form of like graphite pencil. It goes down very smoothly. Before I get into the water, I will say that overall these pencils went down very, very smooth. You can already tell that they're pretty richly pigmented, but let's put them to the test. Let's add the water and see how they activate. Alright, so obviously with the white, you never really can see it that well, but you can definitely tell in the bristles just how pigmented that is. And then while we're here together, just for fun, I'll see what happens with the outliner, just to add some water, which is not a whole lot, which is doing what it's supposed to. Well, what can I say about these pencils that they haven't just said for themselves? They are vibrant, intense, Inktense, in fact. I probably didn't have to put down half as much of the color that I applied in terms of pressure to get as much as I did. If I had just one page, one clean page, and just did one color in the same amount, it would probably cover a much bigger percentage of the paper than this, tiny rectangle that we made for each swatch. So these are very bright, very intense, and when they dry, they will stay waterproof. Unlike a traditional watercolor pencil, which will re-wet, you can see here I had a bleeding situation, so you can kind of get an idea of how they kind of interact with each other. Not necessarily two colors that I would choose to blend personally necessarily, but nonetheless you can see that they do run into each other and will work well together. So I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, please like the video, subscribe to our channel to see future unbox and swatch videos, and ring the bell to be notified from when we post them. Thanks so much for watching.